Hi, this is Brian Hong and we'll be discussing about Zoom. Okay, so what is Zoom all about? Zoom is the perfect tool because it is used for video conferencing, and there's a global trend wherein more people are working from home or working remotely, and Zoom is the perfect complement for that. Because if you need to be able to work or communicate or have a virtual meeting with your colleagues or team members, then Zoom is perfect for you. Okay, and the best part is they have a free plan which we'll be going over as well, so that we can see how we can maximize the use of Zoom. So for this course, I'll be focusing primarily on using Zoom for video conferences so that I can show you on what you can do and pretty much the other function or functionalities that you could do inside it. Okay, so let's have a quick look first on what are the plans and pricing of Zoom. So let me just click on this link. And for the link, right, it's zoom.us. So I'll also include this link, right, so that you can go straight to the Zoom website. So over here, we have the different plans for Zoom. So you can see over here, right, we have the free plan, which is really cool. Okay, so you could just sign up. It's free, right? You can host up to 100 participants. Okay, and then you have unlimited one-on-one meetings, right? And then for your group meetings, pretty much, so if I hover over here, right, pretty much if you have 3 or more total participants, then your group meetings, okay, has a maximum limit of 40 minutes. If this is good for your needs, then the free plan is perfect for you. And pretty much there's an unlimited number of meetings, so which is really nice. Okay, so if this serves your purpose, just go over here and sign up for a free account. Okay, but if not, then explore the other, okay, paid options so that you can see which one works better for you. So now if we have over here, right, we just click here, sign up, it's free. And to be able to get the account, that's pretty easy, right? Over here, you have your work email address. But for example, if we have a Google account, that's even easier to do so. I'll just click here so that there's no need for me to do anything, right? It's already signed in. So I could just use this. I'll click on my account. So now we have this, right? Our Gmail account is good to go, the sign in, and I'll just click create account. And just by that, I'm already inside Zoom. Okay. Okay, so we're inside Zoom. So let's discuss first on what we can do over here. So over here is we have a scheduling of meetings. Okay, so if you want to have multiple classes, for example, in advance, then you could do it over here. But the purpose of this course is to focus on how to host a meeting, okay, for multiple members. So if you're teaching a class, right, or if you have a team meeting, then you could use this straight away. Okay, so over here at the top, we have multiple options: schedule a meeting, join a meeting, host a meeting. But for us, we want to host our own meeting. So over here, we have multiple options with video off, with video on, or screen share only. Okay, so right now we'll select with video on. Okay, so we can have a quick download, right? So we have over here, right? So once you have this downloaded over here, so you can just open Zoom and then you can have it straight away over here. Okay, so that's pretty quick. Okay, so now we're inside Zoom, and then join with computer audio, and then you can just quickly test your speaker and microphone. Okay, so once we're good, I'll just click join with computer audio. Okay, so my webcam's not that good, okay, but you can see my face right now over here, and I'm doing the recording, and you can just click stop video if you want to. So that's pretty easy. So now we have just my letter over here, okay. There's a lot of options that you can see inside Zoom. So if I hover over here, I'll just go over to enter full screen. So let me click that. Okay, and then we have mute. Okay, mute my audio. So if you just don't want people to hear you for now, or if you have other people speaking first, then we just mute your mic. Okay, and then we have start video. That's what we saw a while ago. And then we have the invite option. So if you're wondering on what you can do with invite, right, we have here, you're going to be using your default email client, you have your Gmail client or Yahoo client, so that it will open it from there and then send the invitation mail. Okay, so it's a really nice way because you could just send the link straight away to people or to participants so that they can join into your meeting without much hassle over here. Okay, so we have this join meeting 180. This is my meeting number, right? And then we have a copy URL wherein you want to copy the website link, okay, for people to join in, or you could copy the entire invitation. So the difference is the URL is just the meeting link over here, okay, for people to join into Zoom, but you still need to give them the meeting password, because once they open the page to join your meeting, they will still need to type in the meeting password. Okay, so it's a nice way with Zoom, okay, so that you have control on who can really join in, because if somehow your meeting link accidentally gets posted elsewhere, right, people won't be able to join in without having your meeting password. Okay, so let's just go for copy invitation. So it's already been copied to the clipboard. I'll exit the full screen first, and let me just quickly open the notepad so that you can have a look on what it looks like for the meeting invitation. So let me just paste in here, right? So you could see here that join Zoom meeting, and then you have the link, right? And then there's the password as well. But if you want to join in manually, then there's the meeting details. Okay, so you could just send this to your colleagues or to whoever that you want to join inside your meeting, right? And then just copy paste it and send it over to them. So that's pretty easy on getting participants over. Okay, so once we have that, once we're good for the invite, so assuming we have more people joining in right now, it's only myself over here, right? So I'll go back to full screen. Let me go to manage participants. So over here, right, we have a list of participants, and you could see over here that my mic is turned on and then my video is turned off. So there's that icons that you could see, and we have more options. You can rename the person, you can mute that person, right? Because over here, I'm the host, so I have control over the participants, and it's a really cool way because you have more control. Okay, so if, for example, if you're presenting something and you're the only one that you want everybody to hear, right? Then you could just mute everybody. Okay, mute all, and then you could just unmute yourself, for example. Because the nice thing with this one is you have more control towards your meeting. You can have more order. So let's say it's your turn to speak or another person to speak. Then you as the host could toggle people's mute icons as well. So you could control on what everybody could hear inside the meeting or what everybody couldn't hear. Because if you have more than 10 people, for example, inside your meeting, then it could get chaotic if you have everybody speaking at the same time. So this is where this gets really handy. Okay, so if, for example, if you have a Q&A section later in your meeting, then you could do that, and then that's the time that you turn on your mic for everybody else. Okay, so we have more options over here. So you have mute participants on entry. That's a really handy way, because if people forget to turn off their mic when they join inside your meeting, then you could just do this and do them a favor. Okay, so everybody that's a new participant will get their audio muted from the get-go. Okay, and then there's options as well that allow participants to unmute themselves. Do you want to have them control, okay, over the audio mic? If not, then just turn this off and you have full control. Same as well for the renaming of their names, okay? And then play, enter, and exit chime. So if somebody goes in and somebody leaves the group, then there's a notification that's going to be sounded off. And then we have put participants in the waiting room on entry. So you have some sort of filtering option as well if you want to check first on who are the participants, right? And then we have the lock meeting. So there's a lot of options that you could do, and that's the really nice thing with Zoom, because there's a big set of controls that you can do or customization for your meeting. So let's close this. We're good with manage participants. What's next is the share screen. So let's have a look, right? If I click share screen, there's a multitude of options that we could do. So there's the basic, there's the advanced, and there's the files. So if we select the files, then you could just get files from your cloud storage, okay? And then you just upload it and share to the group. So that's a nice way as well if you have files or exercise files that you want to share with your team. And then we have the advanced option. So advanced option is if you just want a specific portion of the screen, right? You could do that, or just the computer sound, just the audio or music. You could do that as well, right? Or even from a different camera. But what we want to focus on right now is the basic section. Because for the basic, right, you could share your screen, whatever you're seeing in here, right, would be shared to everybody else. So that's the usual option that we could do. But there's a couple more options. You could just select, okay, a specific window, right, inside your computer. So if you just want to focus, let's say on your web browser, then you could do that. Just select the Chrome and you'll be teaching primarily inside Chrome. So even if you toggle between others, then it won't be shared to the rest of the group. Okay, but one of the most common used functions inside Zoom is the whiteboard. Because the really nice thing with whiteboard is you have, okay, so let's try that out. Let's click share. You have a really big whiteboard over here, and you could just scribble as you are teaching or as you are explaining something to the group. And the good thing is it's collaborative as well, so people can join in. For example, let's say you just want them to try to do something. So for example, if I'm teaching a math class, that's perfect because I could just type in, right? Let's say 1 + 2, and then you can just have 3 over here, and then you have your equations, for example, step by step to show to the audience, okay? Because it's a lot different if you're showing people, okay, on how you're doing it as you're explaining it, and the teaching potential that you can do, okay, it's a lot easier for them to understand that way. And there's a lot of things that you could do in here. So for example, for text, right, you can just type in text as well, okay? If you don't want to scribble or write things, okay, just type in hello world. You can just format as well. There's a lot of things that you could do, right? You can change your font, make it bold, right? So you could do a lot of things. You could draw. So this is what I've been doing right now, okay? But there's a lot of more options. If you want it to be a straight line, if you want it to be an arrow or something that's a border, that you could just use it to emphasize things in here, okay? So there's a lot of cool stuff in here. And then we have stamps as well, right? I don't know how you're gonna use this, but it's just something that keeps the audience engaged as well. So if we have the spotlight, so let's try it out. You could just see over here, right? And then let's see, right? You have your focus. If I'm clicking here, you could see the spotlight move to a different location. So if I try this, right, you can just use that eraser as well. That's self-explanatory. You could just remove things as well over here. Okay, and then we have the format option, undo, redo, and we have the clear. Okay, so clear all drawings, pretty much the entire thing. Okay, you want to start with a clean slate, clear my drawings, okay, so just my things that I've done in here, or clear the others drawings, okay, your viewers drawings. So there's that, okay, there's that distinction between the two. So that's really cool as well. And you could save as well. Okay, so if you want to save this as part of the class notes or as part of the meeting notes, meeting minutes, okay, you can do that as well. So that's a really nice thing with whiteboard, wherein everybody could just collaborate, okay, and then do or work within a single whiteboard. Okay, so it's not just the instructor or just the host, but pretty much everybody can join in and contribute. And that's a really cool thing. Okay, so once we're good with that, let's just close this. Okay, we're happy with the whiteboard, and we're right back inside the Zoom. The good thing is once you're done sharing the screen, you could just close it and it will go straight back to the Zoom meeting, okay? So it won't stop it and it's still in progress. So the next thing that we could do, let's have a quick look over here, right? So now that we're done with share screen, let's have a quick look at this one as well. There's more options. One participant can share at a time, or you can even have multiple people sharing simultaneously. Okay, so you can have that option. Let's go to advanced quickly. So you could also do that as well. You can have control over here that who can start sharing when someone else is sharing. Okay, only the host, or can it be other participants as well? So it's really nice right now on what you can do inside Zoom. Okay, so next thing is we have the chat. So over here, right, if we have people speaking, for example, if you're the one explaining things, if your participants have questions, for example, or if they have a conversation, then they can do that over here so that it won't distract others as well. Because if you have mics, right, if you have questions and then you have the mics all muted at the moment, they could just pile in your questions over here, right? Let's say, hey, when will we do this? Okay, and then you just leave the questions over there so that once we have the Q&A section, okay, and then you could just jump over to the group chat, have a look, and then go over the questions one by one. So that's one way of using it. But there's also a cool thing over here, right? The two, you have that option of sending, because it's only me right now that's inside the meeting, but you can have private messages sent out to the other participants in the meeting. So that's also a nice way. So for example, if you have a sudden idea, then you just send a quick message to another participant inside the meeting. Okay, so let's have a look at the other options. So you have control as well as the host. You want to save the chat, right? And then you have control that the participants themselves, do you allow them to chat with nobody? Okay, do you want to disable it? Just the host, everybody else publicly, or both publicly and privately? There's just a lot of options that you could do over here, and it's up to you on how you want to manage your meeting. Okay, so we're good with group chat over here, and then we have another option, record. So this is also a nice way. So for example, if you're doing a town hall or if you're doing a tutorial, for example, you can also record your session over here so that you won't have to do it over and over again. And the good thing with this one is once you start recording this, okay, so let's try it out. So for example, I've started recording, so you could see on the upper left corner that Zoom is recording my session at the moment. So if I have my webcam on, I have my screen share on, everything's gonna get recorded inside the session along with my audio. Okay, and once you're done with this, you can just click here to stop, right, over here, or you could just also click here to stop. So there's two options that you could do. Or you can pause the recording as well and then resume it afterwards. So right now, I'll do a stop. And you could see here, right, the recorded file will be converted to the MP4 format when the meeting ends. So you could just upload it to, for example, in YouTube or to example in a Facebook page, whatever that you want, or whatever location that you want to share to other people so that you don't need to do this over and over again. Okay, so a lot of functions, and take note, this is the free plan of Zoom. So just out of the gate, you're able to do a lot of things with Zoom. So next thing is we have the reactions. So you could just also have just some fun parts over here. Okay, so I've just selected the thumbs up or selected this icon as well. And you could just have other participants do the reactions as well. So, okay, so we have pretty much the basic functions of the meeting covered inside Zoom. And once we're done with the meeting, we just go to end meeting over here. And there's a couple of options. So we have end meeting for all. So pretty much everybody else in the meeting would have it ended as well for this one. Okay. So pretty much you and the participants end the meeting for everybody else. And we have the leave meeting. If you want to leave the meeting, but you want the meeting to continue, then you'll have to assign a different person to be the host because there has to be a host for the Zoom meeting. Okay. So for right now, we just want to end the meeting for all. Okay. And once we're done, it's going to be saving the recording because if you remember, right, we have a recording that was done inside the meeting. And then once you're happy with this, you can just select a folder, click OK, and then it's going to be saved as the MP4 file. And if you enjoyed, okay, this session, this tutorial, just let me know in the comments as well on what else you want to learn inside Zoom, and I'll be more than happy to create more videos for you to learn from. Hi, this is Brian Hong and welcome to the course, The Top Zoom Tips That You Need to Know. Okay, so what we have here right now is I have the desktop client open for Zoom. Okay, so we're not starting any meetings yet. And our first tip is to use virtual backgrounds whenever you're doing your presentation or whenever you're hosting a meeting. And this is really cool because what you can do is we'll just have the desktop client open. Let's go straight to settings. Okay, there's a lot of options, but we're going to be going straight to virtual background. What's going to happen over here, right? So we have my webcam right now, okay, my integrated webcam, and then you have a choice of virtual backgrounds. And what I can do right now is I can just select any one of these, right? And it just changes your background automatically. So whenever you're working inside at home, for example, or anywhere in a cafe, in a busy cafe, and then you don't have time to set up the background at the back, right? So that it will be cleaner. So you can see there's some quirks happening though, but it does the job, right? And this is perfect so that it can get you quickly, right, ready for your meeting right away. Okay, so it gives you a better, more of like a more professional look. Okay, so there's different backgrounds that you could try over here. So I could just change them, okay, so that when you start the meeting later, if you want this, right, for a more serene setting, okay, or more vacation feels, okay, you can change that as well. And there's also setting over here, add image or video. So you can have your customization. If you have your own image or video, you can use that as well. So for example, if you want a more professional setting, like let's say in an office, then you could just grab a picture, okay? Or if you have a picture or photo of inside the office, you could just place it inside the background and that would look great, okay? And then there's another option as well. I have a green screen. So if you have a green background, it's gonna be looking a lot better, because over here, right, you can see it's not exactly perfect, okay, but because it does its best to try to filter out the background, but it's not 100% perfect. But if you have a green screen at the background, then that's going to be look more polished, okay? But this is a quick way of using the virtual background so that it will make your meetings look more professional. Okay, so now for our second tip is showing you on how can we change the virtual background to our custom image. Okay, so if we want it to be like our full control, okay, on what we see here in the background, we can do that quickly. So what I usually do is I just look for free images across the web. Okay, so for example, what we have is the Pixabay. So this is just a site that I use, and it's just a quick way for me to get some free images. So for example, if we want it to be a more professional setting, like we're working right now, right? So we go for getting an office background. So what I did was just doing a quick search, okay? Then just scrolling down and then picking one of these that I want. Okay, so if I go for this, so I just downloaded this one. Okay, so I just pick a random background image and already have it in my computer, and that's going to be straightforward to do. What I'll do is, let's go over here. I've already shown you on how you're going to be getting the virtual background setting. Let's go to the plus sign, add image, okay, and then we just look for that file and just go open. Once we're good, it's going to get loaded, and now you have your new virtual background right away. Okay, so it's up to you, to your imagination, how creative you can be with your virtual background. And another tip is, sometimes if you have a brand, you can also make this a more solid background, right? And then you can have your brand as well at the background so that you can have it a more clean and professional look. So now we're inside our Zoom desktop client, and we're going to be talking about our next tip, which is right inside the settings. So I'll just click on this, and then if we check the video, okay, there's a lot of settings in here, okay, and one of them that I really like to use is just with a click, single click, right? You can just enable HD in here so that it looks a bit better, okay, and then we have even a beautify option in here. So if you just select this, you can touch up your appearance. Okay, so there's a lot of options right inside here, and one of the main tips that I want to show you inside the video settings is this one: turn off my video when joining the meeting. So this is a good setting to always enable, okay, because if you enable this, okay, and then you join a meeting, whether you're hosting or when you're joining a different meeting, right, inside Zoom, the good thing with this one is it won't enable your video or your webcam right away, okay, because if you want to join a meeting, it's better if you have full control, okay, on when you want your video to show up, because there are times when you're not ready yet, right? Whenever you join a meeting and then let's say there's still some busy things that's happening in the background, whether it's your kids running in the background, for example, or there's something happening, okay, you don't want it to be enabled automatically. Okay, so once you have everything prepared, you have everything under control, okay, and then that's the time that you start the video, okay, the video sharing on your own accord. So always enable this because it's going to be a bit easier to use with Zoom, okay, once you have this in. Okay, so for our next tip, what I want to show you is the list of add-ons that we have with Zoom. And there's a really cool calendar add-on that you could use so that it's, whether inside your Google Calendar, right, or inside your Microsoft Outlook, you can quickly create Zoom meetings from there. Okay, so let's jump over to zoom.us/download. Okay, so this is a pretty quick link to access. And then inside the download center, okay, so what I have here, okay, there's a Zoom extension for browsers. So if you're using Firefox or if you're using Chrome, right, you can just go for the quick extension here, and I'll be showing to you quickly. Okay, and then there's also the Outlook. So you can see here, right, if you're using Microsoft Outlook for your email, you could also download and then install it inside Outlook. Okay, but for the purposes of this tip, we're going to be focusing, because I'm using Chrome right now. Okay, so we'll be going straight from the Chrome web store. Okay, so I'll click on it, right? And then we have over here, right, the extensions Zoom Scheduler. Okay, so I'll just click add to Chrome, pretty easy. Add extension to confirm, right? And then it should show up later with a new button over here. Okay, so Zoom Scheduler has been added to Chrome, right? And then if you want to use the extension, just click on the icon. So since I'm using a Gmail account right inside Chrome, okay, so I'll jump over here. I already have my Google Calendar open, okay, so if you have a Google account, a Gmail account, you can just go straight to the calendar. And what I'll do is I'll just create a event, okay, so let's go for more options so that we can have a look. Okay, so I'll just click here, right? So sign it with Google because it's a new extension over here, right? So it's already signed in. Okay, so over here, if we go here, new meeting, right? So it's still not here. So let me just do a refresh. There you go. Because I've just added the extension, it's not appearing right away. If you noticed a while ago, it's still not here, right? But since I've already installed it, did a refresh, now it's over here. The cool thing with this one is, let's say, meeting to discuss the examination. Okay, details. So once we're good, right? And then over here, make it a Zoom meeting, because what's going to happen next is if I click on this, okay, there's a one-time meeting, right? Require meeting password, blah, blah, blah. This is just the basic settings or how you're going to be setting up a Zoom meeting. So once we're good with this, okay, I'll just click continue. And just like that, you instantly have a meeting link that you can send out to your guests or to the meeting recipients over here. So there's no need for me to go to the Zoom website anymore, schedule a meeting or set a meeting up, right? You can do it straight inside the calendar, and that's really cool because over here, once you send the meeting over, right, there's no need for me to copy links. There's no need for me to find out where the meeting invite is. You can do everything straight inside, okay, inside the Google Calendar because of the extension. So it's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. And then afterwards, since you already have the Zoom link over here, right, once you have the meeting invite show up when it comes to the exact time, right, you could just click on this one to join the Zoom meeting. So you could just see how easy it is because you have the Zoom extension right inside the Google Calendar. So you could do the same thing as well for Outlook just by installing the plugin from the link that I showed you a while ago. Now let's talk about our next tip, which is hiding the floating menu. Okay, so I need to show you first on what the floating menu looks like. So we have the Zoom desktop client. I'll go straight to a new meeting, right? So it's just going to be me alone in here so far. Okay, so what I'll do right now is I'll be sharing the screen of my computer. Okay, so I'll just click share screen. Okay, and then let's click share. So the participants of the Zoom meeting would be able to see my screen right now, but from a host perspective, right? So for example, let's say I'm doing a screen share on my Google Chrome and I just want to click on the tab showing them one by one on what's going to be done. Okay, but this is the annoying thing sometimes when we have the floating menu, because once you go through somewhere in the middle, then the floating menu just pops up. And I couldn't recall, like I couldn't count how many times exactly wherein I had the accident of trying to click, right? So if I hover away, trying to click on this one and I ended up clicking stop share. Okay, that's a bit embarrassing to happen. Okay, and people won't see it because they won't see this floating menu over here. But from a presenting or from a presenter's point of view, it's a bit annoying because it sometimes gets in the way. So what we can do right now is there's a setting, there's a shortcut as well that we could just use this so that it won't bother us anymore. Okay, so over here in more, you could just select hide floating meeting controls. So you could just have the keyboard shortcut handy as well, call Control Alt Shift H over here. And then once we click on this, okay, it's gone. And you could just do your screen share as if you're just using your computer normally. And you saw the reminder over here, right? If you want to access the floating menu again, just click escape. So I'll do that now. I'll click escape, right? And it shows up again. And if not, right, once you're good, then you could just hide it again. Okay, and then just continue on with your presentation. So I'm inside a meeting right now. Okay, so I'm hosting it, and one of the cool tips that I want to share to you, okay, is how to mute all of the participants with just a keyboard shortcut. Okay, and that's Alt M, because one of the things is, for example, I'm speaking over here, right, and then people start joining in because not everybody's going to be on time. And when I click on manage participants, right, you can see a list of members or participants over here. And sometimes if you look at the mic, right, you could see I'm speaking, so you could see the mic going up and down. But if I stop speaking, okay, then that's going to be not moving anymore. But the problem is, for example, if you have 10 or 20 or 30 participants and then some of them forget to mute their mic, that's going to be cumbersome for you, because if you try to present at the same time and then try to look at the settings over here one by one and then try to mute them, right, and then check on who is the noisy participant, okay, that's going to take forever and it's going to distract you from doing a professional and a clean presentation. So what you can do is mute all, right? But not all of us would have the extra time to be able to go over here and then click mute all, right? Because sometimes, right, it's not open. So the good thing is, I'll just open this right now so that you can see. I can just press Alt M, okay? If I press Alt M, you can see over here, right? It's mute all right away. So it's a handy shortcut. So if you don't have this open as well, just click Alt M, just press Alt M, and then it will just mute everybody, right? Except you, of course. Okay, so that's a really cool tip. And then once you're done, right, and you could just press Alt M again, which I'll do now, and it gets removed. Okay, so you could just use that shortcut if you want to mute everybody right away so that it will be focused on you as the host or the presenter, and then you just continue speaking to the audience. Okay, so for our next tip, we want to discuss about a share screen tip over here. So I'll just stop the video and then we can focus on using the share screen. So I'll share my screen right now inside my meeting, and then let me just go for share screen, or let's say we just want to share about Google Chrome right now, right? So one thing that's going to be helpful when it comes to making your presentation more professional looking is we can use this option over here, new share. So for example, let's say you're using Chrome, right? And then you want to share something inside a notepad or a different application, right? It looks a bit clunky if you try to jump from one application to another, because you're going to be hovering here, right, in the taskbar over here, and then you're going to be looking for that application. So to make it more professional looking to your audience, what you can do is you could just go straight to new share, because they won't see this screen, okay? Your audience won't be able to see the floating menu over here, right? And then this window as well. It's only your view that can see this window, okay? And then over here, you can make that choice on which one do you want to share to the audience, right? So for example, if I want to jump over to a folder, or if I want to jump over to a whiteboard, okay, you could just do over here for new share so that it looks a bit more fluid to your audience, okay? So in their perspective, right, all they can see is this one, still the Chrome window right now, okay? But over here from your end, you have extra time, or just the time that you need to be able to jump over to a different window to share, okay? So use that for new share and then jump over to a new one. So for our next tip, it's going to be a screen share tip, right? So we have an existing meeting right now that's ongoing, okay? And then I'm sharing my screen as well. So over here, right beside the new share, I want to share to you the pause share, okay? And then the keyboard shortcut for that is Alt-T. So the good thing with this one for pause share, right, because new share is crucial, is pretty handy if you want to jump from, let's say, one window to another, okay? And then pause share, on the other hand, will pause this one. So if I pause share right now, if I click on this, right, what the audience would see is whatever the last thing that you have shared. So they're still stuck in this one. But for me, I could just jump over to other, right, screens over here, right? So it's kind of similar, right, in the movies, if you see the CCTV being frozen, right? It's something like that what you're doing to the audience. But the question right now is, why would you do something like that? Because for example, if you're doing a presentation right now and then all of a sudden you forgot something and then you want to check your meeting notes quickly, it's going to be embarrassing if you do that midway during the presentation. But after I did the pause share, okay, I could just jump over to my notepad, for example, check my meeting notes out. And then once I have read that, okay, I'll just minimize that and then jump over back here, right? And then I could just go for resume share. And just by doing that, right, your audience doesn't see a thing, doesn't know that whatever's happening in the background, okay? So that's a cool thing, and it's pretty handy. So that you don't need to hover up and then click pause share, right? If you need to do something it's kind of like offline quickly, right? Just Alt-T, pause your share, right? And then after that, you could just unpause it and then carry on with your presentation. So another tip I want to share is a share screen tip as well, because we're going to be using a lot of that when we're doing Zoom meetings. Okay, so over here, right, I have a screen share session ongoing, and what I want to show you is this, the annotate. And this is something that makes your screen sharing stand out, because if I click on this, right, there's a lot of drawing tools right now that you can do on your screen. So for example, if I want to, let's say, focus the audience right over here, so I have my draw tool and I can just draw on top of my screen. So that's really powerful, okay, because it gives you that sense or that control on whenever you want to focus on something, right, or you want to emphasize something. You could just use this to get the attention of your audience. So for example, let's just use the text over here, right? Let's say, see this setting, okay? So it's just like I'm drawing on top of the website or my Chrome window or whatever application that you're using. And there's a lot of options. So for example, if I use the spotlight, right, there's the red dot so that the entire audience can quickly focus on where your mouse is going. Another option over here, right, is this arrow. So for example, so if I click here, right, there's going to be that arrow, that emphasis arrow, so that people can see. So if I click on another spot, right, it jumps to another spot and I click over here, right? So it's a really handy way of emphasizing stuff on your presentation. So you have the eraser as well. You could just remove, right, the other things that we've been doing. There's the undo and redo. So I'll just undo this, right? So they come back here. And the setting, right, if you just want to quickly clear the drawings, just select this one, clear all drawings. Okay, clear my drawings and clear your viewers' drawings. So for example, if they are joining in as well and then doing some things or sketching over here, so that, say it's a troubleshooting session, for example, you can clear their drawings as well. Okay, so the settings over here is pretty much the same as what you can see inside the whiteboard. Okay, but the good thing with this one is you can do the same thing as well right on your screen. Okay, so use the annotate function during your screen session so that it will be a lot more interactive. Thank you so much for taking this course. Okay, so if this has brought value to you and you have learned something new, please leave your feedback as well. Okay, so just click on sure, and then you could just give your honest feedback so other students can also discover this class. Okay, so what I have here open is actually one of my classes. And if you want to learn more about what I'm teaching at the moment, just click on the link over here, right? My name is over here. So if you just click, okay, you could just scroll down and you could see over what am I up to, okay, with my profile. And then if you just scroll down, we have over here a lot more courses that I teach to you. So if you're more curious about Excel goodness, I have a lot of Excel stuff to teach you. Okay, shortcuts, Power Query, okay, Power BI, Excel formulas, or if you're into SQL, okay, for databases, writing SQL queries, check it out as well, okay, and I'll be able to show you a lot more on what you can learn. Okay, so thank you so much again for taking this class, and don't forget to leave an honest review.